This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Ken Coleman, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author and host of The Ken Coleman Show, is my co-host today as we talk about careers and jobs with him and life and so forth with me and Ken together. This is launch day around Ramsey. Borrowed Future, the documentary, is available as of now. You can watch it on Apple TV, on Google Play, and on Amazon Prime or borrowedfuture.com. If you're a teacher and you would like to show this student loan expose to your students after they see it, I promise you they will go to college without debt. It will scare them straight. And we're here to stir up a holy ruckus. It's what we do around here. And I can promise you this documentary will, it's not, here will be some people not happy when they see what we did to them. Yeah, because we expose the underbelly of some of these places that have been misbehaving for years. Mm-hmm. And all shows up in this documentary. You will enjoy it. It's riveting. It's very, very, very well done. Borrowed Future, anywhere great docs are found. So, Ken, the Wall Street Journal reads, the IRS wants to look at your bank account. On your next trip to the ATM, imagine that Uncle Sam is looking over your shoulder. As if your annual tax filing wasn't invasive enough, the Biden administration would like to look at your checking account. Charles Rettig, the commissioner of the Internal Revenue Service, wants banks to report annual cash flows for ordinary account holders. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen is promoting the plan, and the House Ways and Means Committee is debating whether to include this mandate in the Democrats' $3.5 trillion spending bill. Ms. Yellen says the reporting will help to catch wealthy tax dodgers. In a recent letter to the committee, she said the plan would reveal opaque income streams that disproportionately accrue to the top. Yeah. The wealthy are evil, and I'm sure they're all hiding their money in the bank. You stupid woman. Seriously.
Well, this is unbelievable. Had I not seen that this was an actual article, I would have thought this was a spoof from The Onion. This is so unbelievably outrageous that the federal government is kicking around the idea of being able to look into our bank accounts. Let me tell you something. This is going to get nasty right here because there's always another way around it. Every time government tries to move and pivot to take away our personal freedom, people figure it out. And I hope some bankers are paying attention right now because I'd be looking for some shortcuts.
Can you imagine that this would not help deposits?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's going to disrupt and destroy an industry. Yeah. I got to tell you.
The IRS plans to review every account above a $600 balance, or because that's the people that are, these are the wealthy tax dodgers here.
Well, there's the catch. Yeah. It's not about wealthy people. It's about everybody.
Yeah. It's about control. Again,
it's time for some pitchforks to come out. I got to tell you,
a little bit of need probably a couple of torches to go with the pitchfork.
Yes,
it's also a privacy breach waiting to happen. Not long ago, the confidential tax records of Jeff Bezos, Mike Bloomberg, and other wealthy Americans were exposed by ProPublica. Whoever leaked or hacked those records committed a crime, but the IRS has revealed nothing from its promised investigation. Adding bank account info to the IRS trove would risk the disclosure of savings and spending information of political adversaries in the same way. No, that would never happen. 23 state treasurers and auditors signed a letter last month opposing the plan, calling it one of the largest infringements of data privacy in our nation's history.
You think? By the way, watch this. Watch how this might just flood the cryptocurrency thing becoming an outside fringe thing to an actual everyday thing. That's why this thing is out there. I'm not endorsing it at all. I don't do anything with it. I want to be very clear. But that's where this is coming from. Because of this government overreach. You watch it. It's just going to, if this happens or even tries to happen, it's going to create a tidal wave of mistrust and all kinds of problems. It's laughable. It's so absurd. It really is. It's mind-blowing that they think that this could actually happen.
Well, yeah. And I would think that probably one of the more powerful lobbying groups, even for Democrats, would be the bankers.
That's why I laugh at this.
And I would think that they would put their big heel on this and grind, because this is going to create a lot of cost for them, because they have to build systems to report this to comply. This is a billions and billions of dollars of cost for the banking industry.
Yeah. Yeah. This,
because
to
by
me,
God, if you got $750, Joe Biden wants to know it.
Oh, yeah. And first of all, let me just say this. I have this is an opinion. I just don't think this has any legs to it all. It's so ridiculous. But the emperor is officially not wearing clothes. That's where we are right now. This is such an unbelievable
Wait, he did that
suggestion.
Too?
Yes, on top of everything else, he's taking his clothes
that
off.
birthday suit needs ironing.
Yes,
Don't
it
do
does.
That.
Yes,
Don't
it
do
does.
That. Don't do that.
Yeah, it's just so absurd that this policy would even be floated.
No, it's just, but it's it goes along with a lot of the COVID overreach and some of these other things that are overreaching constitutional rights. And it's been going on for some time.
Yes.
And just how much before people bow up on it.
I think this would do it.
Apparently, there's a weather problem with Southwest Air right now.
Yeah.
The weather everywhere Southwest Air is flying is bad.
Yeah.
And so they're struggling with weather.
Yeah.
And everywhere they land is a problem. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So these statements and policies and supposed things, even if you don't implement them, if you just toss it out there like a trial balloon that has a grenade attached to it, it still has implications.
That's a great point. You know what this
reverbs through these industries.
That's absolutely a great point, Dave. This is a threat to privacy. A threat. Right now it's a threat. It's not an attack yet, but it's a threat. And I don't know if there's anything more private than our bank accounts. You start talking about people's money. I mean, we're talking, you've been doing this for a long time. We're talking crazy emotions around your money and the privacy of that.
Yeah.
This is a threat to privacy. That's what this is.
Yeah, it's like a banana republic where you can't trust the banking system, so you have to keep your money under a mattress. And you have to stay off the grid because you can't. It's not trustworthy. They lie, they steal, they cheat in some of these crazy countries. And are we going to devolve into that with this kind of movement out of the federal government? Of course, the good news is we've got a group of governors on several of these issues that are saying your overreach doesn't extend across our state line. We're not going to allow it. And then we've got another group of governors that went, oh yeah, we're all in. Whatever you want to do, we're with you, Big Joe. Yeah, this is out of control. Out of control. The tyranny is real. So, yeah, just let them poke around in everybody's bank account. Not to mention how much that costs, not to mention how much you do. But every time you get ready to move your money that you earned, they want to know about it. Yeah.
We'll see how that works out.
This is The Ramsey Show. Stop paying your overpriced wireless provider and switch to Pure Talk. They use the same network as the larger providers for much less. For just $30 a month, get unlimited talk, text, and 6 gigs of data with no contract. The average family saves over $70 a month by switching to Pure Talk. Just go to puretalk.com and enter the promo code Ramsey to save 50% off your first month. Pure Talk, simply smarter wireless. Ken Coleman, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Michael's with us in Tampa, Florida. Hey, Michael, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Great, man. What's up?
Hey, so I'm having trouble deciding if I need to take this new job along with the challenges the schedule would have with me and my wife. We just had like a big rent increase in the entire Tampa Bay area, and the job was going to pay me probably about $8,000 more walking into the door, and I want to know if I should take the job.
Why would you not take the job? What are you wondering about?
So I have an older child from a previous relationship, and she comes over every other weekend, and it would disrupt my time with her, as well as my wife and I disagreeing about, I have one son, and she wants him to play sports, and I do too, but by the games being on the weekend, I wouldn't be able to be there, and we've kind of been bickering back and forth about that. And I'm trying to get her to hold off, to agree to hold off on it, but I'm having a hard time.
Yeah. So are you guys in tough shape financially to where this $8,000 bump is really, really needed? How is it going to affect you guys if you don't take the bump, besides all the relationship stuff?
I know that you guys recommend 25%. Our rent shouldn't be that. But the take-home pay and the rent increase will probably put it at about 30%.
What do you make a year?
Combined, last year we made 98.
Okay. So you're talking about an 8% increase or a 7% increase.
Yeah.
And your dispute is you would be working every weekend.
Yes.
Doing what? What are you going to be doing?
I'm a truck driver for Dr. Pepper right now, and I have a better opportunity at a food service distribution as a food truck driver.
Okay. And will you be working weekends then the rest of your life?
Yeah, because I have a friend of mine that works there, and I was communicating with him about it, and I spoke with his direct supervisor, and he kept it. He was honest with me. He says he's been working Saturdays for 18 years. He says, I hate it, and I have guys quit all the time because they have kids that want to, play ball and they want to be there and they can't.
Michael, is it possible? I just want to know what your opinion is. Is it possible, do you think, that you could find another job making $8,000, even more than $8,000 more, where you don't have to work weekends?
It's very tough. I've tried tanker and hazmat because I do have those endorsements on my license, but those guys work Saturday and Sunday in evening time. I've turned down countless jobs, even up to paying $90,000, because they want you to work in the evening, and it's Saturday and Sunday.
Are these all driving related jobs where you're driving?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
But again, I want to put that question back to you. I think you've limited yourself because you've got a background. You may enjoy driving. I think you have to open up your possibilities right here to say, well, wait a second. I've got some experience and I've got some skill. And it's very transferable. I can do a whole lot more than just drive a truck. And you are making a pretty decent household income together, but you can increase this. I think you've got to open yourself up to what's out there. And when you begin to look for those things, you will see those things. And you got to get busy on this, because taking this job is not about the $8,000 bump. You're going to be very miserable relationally because you're going to miss your kid. You're going to put pressure on your wife to not let the kid play sports and all that stuff. And that's just a bunch of relationship turmoil that is related to you boxing yourself into, this is the only thing I can do. And I think that's the challenge, and to begin to see what else you can do that is a much different schedule that doesn't require you to work weekends the rest of your life. This is a great market right now to be looking, and you've got to just harness all of that negative energy and turn it into, I'm going to look for something else that does fit my relationship goals as well, because it's out there.
Yeah, and this is the moment. Because with all the stuff happening in the economy, one of the issues is logistics, meaning delivery by trucks. And we've got ships that they can't get into port because they can't get the trucks to put the stuff on. And so I'm not suggesting you start driving over the road. I'm just saying that truck driving is at a premium right now. And so, no, I would not take this other job. But no, I would not stay where I am either.
That's correct.
And so I'm going to do what Ken said. I'm going to expand my the color. The page you're coloring on is not big enough. You need a bigger page, and you need to draw a better picture of where your future is going to be.
Hang on the line, Michael. I would love to give him a link and a code to the Get Clear Career Assessment, which is going to help you see things you've never seen before. It's a wonderful tool. Take you less than 20 minutes. It'll help you see purpose in your work, but more than that, give you some real possibilities. You can see what you have to offer to this world, because you've got a lot to offer.
Mark is in Los Angeles. Hey, Mark, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, Dave. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
Dave, I have a legacy journey question. My wife and I are on baby step 7, and we have a nest egg of about $4 million, $3 million in IRAs, and $1 million in a taxable brokerage account. We'll live off the interest, with the goal of preserving the nest egg as an inheritance for my daughters. Here's my question. As we manage this nest egg, I'm currently planning to deplete the money in the IRAs and grow the money in the brokerage account over time, with a goal of leaving the kids a portfolio that's 100% brokerage account and no IRA money, so their inheritance isn't encumbered with any government strings or tax bombs or anything. And what I wondered was, is this the right strategy?
Yes.
And if so, how you would recommend I manage it to achieve it?
Yeah. I mean, you've got the idea, and it's just a matter of drawing down on the thing fast enough to keep, that you hit the perfect mark, right, where there's nothing left except the brokerage account when you get to retirement. So your money that you are generous with while you're alive to other things, your money that you are living off of, all comes out of that IRA, because it doesn't create an inheritance tax, the IRA doesn't, but it is taxable because it's a traditional IRA. It's going to be taxed as an inherited IRA or inherited 401k. And so, yeah, you're right. You're on the right track. But there's not a magic number to it. If you know when you're going to die, you can figure it out easy.
Yeah, right.
But, just start running your numbers and deplete it exactly at that moment. But you don't have to worry about that. If you can just minimize the damage or minimize the process that they have to screw with the government by using this strategy, it's very, very wise. I think you're way ahead of the curve. That's some really good thinking on your part. Really good thinking. Beautiful idea. I hadn't even thought of that, actually.
Really?
No, I haven't. Huh. I may need to think about that myself.
Well, that's good. That's kind of a nice thing.
I've done a whole bunch of other things to keep money off the estate plan,
right?
From a state tax standpoint, but I haven't thought about the stinking 401k, which is sitting over there. It's a monster.
Right. So is it about the pace by which he has to draw it down? There's no penalties?
Well, you've got to use it up, because anything he doesn't use up is going to be taxed.
Right. But there's nothing that keeps you from pulling out a certain sums at some point and certain sums. I mean, you can do it discriminately.
You're going to pay taxes on it.
Right.
He's going to pay taxes on it, or they're going to pay taxes on it.
Right.
You're not going to get out of the taxes. But it's not a state tax. It's income tax.
Right.
On the 401k. And this is one of those tax dodges that the wealthy do.
This is why the IRS needs to get in our bank accounts.
Yeah, this is exactly
these evil,
right
wealthy
because
people.
We worked our whole lives and we actually built up something of our own money and already paid taxes on it once, and then they want to get us again.
Pay your fair share, you evil, wealthy people.
You evil, wealthy person, you. This is the Ramsey Show. Bobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage. Don and Paula are with us. Hey, guys, how are you?
Good.
Where do you guys live?
Bemidji, Minnesota.
All right. Welcome to Nashville. So good to have you. How much debt have you guys paid off?
$135,000.
Way to go. And how long did this take?
26 months.
Good for you. And your range of income during that time?
$148,000 to $158,000.
Good. What do you guys do for a living?
I'm a physical therapist.
I work for a large credit union.
Okay. Very cool. What kind of debt was the $135,000?
We had 3 credit cards, home equity line of credit, 2 vehicles, a camper, and a massive student loan.
Oh, man. A big old student loan, huh?
Massive.
How long you guys been married?
18 years.
Wow. So what happened 2 years ago that put you on this Ramsey journey?
We actually heard about you back in 2007. A friend of us had gifted us your DVDs. We read them, listened to them, thought it was great. At the time, though, we only had the massive school loan and the mortgage, so it just didn't stick. Fast forward, life happened, and Paula always took care of the money. So in 2018, all of a sudden she comes to me and says, "You need to quit going out for lunch." Well, okay. Well, thankfully I only live 7 minutes from lunch or from work. So I would go home and do dishes and laundry and go back to work. Not a big deal. So a few months go by, and she says, "We need to cut cable. We can't afford it. We can't afford the $100 a month." Oh, okay. Well, begrudgingly I did. So in March of 2019, I'm working away, and that morning I get a phone call from her. She was traveling a lot for work, and she says, "You need to get out of this podcast. We need to do this now." And it was your podcast. Hopped on, never looked back. So we took our credit cards from April and itemized everything. And in the month of March, Dave, we spent $1,225 out in restaurants and $225 out in coffee shops.
Wow.
Never
we know
again.
where your retirement was going.
Yeah.
You were eating it.
Never again. No. And we never looked back.
Wow.
It was game on, game over.
Wow. Yeah, you don't do anything for it. When he jumps into the deep end.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow,
Oh,
that's pretty impressive. Very cool. So, you went wide open then for the next 2 years.
Yep. Game over.
These numbers are pretty impressive. I mean, you've been on Beans and Rice.
Yep.
Yes, we
And,
have.
you had to have broke people making fun of you.
We had a
lots.
lot of naysayers, absolutely.
Yeah, I bet you did.
Still
Yeah.
a lot of haters.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Yeah. And, but now you're free and they're not. So here
Yep.
we go.
Look at me now.
How you like me now? Yeah. I like it. Yeah. Good for you guys. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Very, very well done. How's it feel to be free?
Unbelievable.
It is absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I mean, the emotion is all over you, Don,
Yeah.
and it's powerful stuff. Where's that coming from? Is it the sacrifice? Is it the future? Is it all of it together that you're feeling in this moment?
Well, it's just the feeling in 2019, basically being normal, living in an outhouse, and now I'm in a penthouse. Kids in college, funded. Retirement,
wow.
fully funded. It's done. I don't have to worry about money anymore. It's over.
Wow.
Very cool.
Wow.
So, Paula, what do you tell people the key to getting out of debt is now that you guys did it?
I think for me, the budget, because it was crazy, always being in charge of the finances and paying off the credit or trying to pay off the credit cards, and we didn't have the money to pay off the credit cards. And then we did a budget, and it's like, holy crap, we have extra money to put toward this debt. Where did this come from? Well, it wasn't going out to eat and the coffee shops. And so the budget was huge. But I think the thing that made the difference in 2019 versus 07 when we initially heard about you was we had a why. In 07, we didn't have the kids. We didn't have to worry about college. And now we have the kids, and we have a lake lot, and the goal was to build a house at the lake lot and be able to do that when our kids are still with us and not out of the house. And so I think it's having the budget, but having that big why.
So it sounds like you were handling the money, obviously.
Correct.
And just kind of giving Don instructions. And the last instruction you gave him was listen to this podcast, which meant that you no longer got to handle the money by yourself, but you also didn't have all the weight on your own shoulders, carrying
Correct.
all the decisions by yourself. And Talk about how important it is, or how you felt when your husband has put his shoulder up under there and lifted some of the weight off of you by making the decisions together.
It was huge. I mean, I was the one that always took care of everything, and all of a sudden, Don is the one that's checking the bank account like 500 times a day.
You lit him on fire, didn't you?
And he's like, "Oh, just so you know, I updated the budget. I updated every dollar," and it's huge. And honestly, it's so nice because I know that we're both on the same page, you know, because back in the day, there were times where we would go out to eat and he'd be like, "Oh, I got this." And I'd look at him like, we don't got the money to got this. But now I don't need to worry.
Yeah, so great. All right, so Don, you got on board, right? And it's obvious you went all in. Okay.
Absolutely.
What was the most extreme thing you did early on that you look back on now and you go, this helped me go from conviction and knowing that we have to do it to this got me really going?
There was an instance a couple weeks in where she had called me and she was down shopping with one of her sisters, and she had asked me if she could buy a sweatshirt, and I said, "No, you cannot buy a sweatshirt. You can use one of my sweatshirts. I have 12 of them that I never wear. So you can go ahead and use one of mine if you need a sweatshirt. We do not need a sweatshirt."
Wow, the bravery to say that, my man.
Yeah.
How did that go? I want to hear the rest of that story.
Well, I was shopping with my sister. She was in town, and she's like, "Oh, Paula, this is really cute. You've got to get this." And I was like, "No, that's not in the budget." And she's like, "Oh, come on, Paula. It is a sweatshirt." And I was like, "I can't. It's not in the budget." And she said, "Fine, I'll call up Don. I'll ask Don." And I said,
the sister called.
You can ask Don. I know what he's going to tell you. He's going to tell you no way." And she's like, "He is not." And she got off the phone and she goes, "Don told me you couldn't get the sweatshirt." And I was like, "I told you he was going to say no."
Nice.
Woo!
Yep.
That's discipline, though.
Hey, that's when, listen, if you live like no one else,
there it is.
Later you can live like no one else.
Yeah.
And, when you make $158,000 a year and you don't have any debt, you can get a sweatshirt.
Yeah. By the way, I would like to point out at this appropriate time, Don, you should probably buy her a sweatshirt.
Yeah.
one that says Nashville on it.
She's
while
earned
you're here.
it. She's earned it.
This woman earned a sweatshirt. we're gonna go all in on that.
I think so.
Matter of fact, Ken's gonna buy you a sweatshirt.
Oh, there it is. Hey, why not?
With my money. You guys are fun. Thank you so much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We're
Thank
very, very
you.
proud of you. And you brought the kiddos with you.
Yes.
What are their names and ages? Let's get them up into the shot.
We have Garrett and Owen, who are 12, and Mallory, who is 10.
All right. Very, very good. Most awesome. Very cool. We got a copy of The Legacy Journey for you. That's your next chapter in your story for sure. You've changed your whole legacy, guys. As you said, you got a great why. You changed your life for your kids, and you changed their life in the process. Very cool stuff. Also, a copy of the Total Money Makeover for you to give away to somebody. One of those people that was making fun of you, maybe. Maybe we can help them out. That's a good idea. So, very well done. All right, Don and Paula, Garrett, Owen, and Mallory from Minnesota. $135,000 paid off in 26 months, making $148 to $158. You are looking at life change right in front of you. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1.
We're debt-free! Woo! That's how it's done right there, baby. Yeah, freedom! It doesn't get any better.
No, it does
Hey,
not.
listen, when you work that hard and you
Yes.
sacrifice that deep, you'll never go back.
No, you
Those
can
people
hear it.
never go back. I'm not going to talk to them later. They go, "Well, Dave, we sort of fell off and went and bought a car on a jet." You're not going to hear that from Don.
No.
Don is changed. He's done.
Yes.
He's stick a fork in him. He's done.
Yes.
This is the Ramsey Show. Ken Coleman, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Brian is with us in Boulder, Colorado. Hey, Brian, how are you?
Hey, Dave, good. How you doing?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Well, pleasure to be speaking with you. Wanted to talk to you about, we recently refinanced our home to a 15-year mortgage, but it puts us over your recommended 25% of our take-home pay. It puts us more at like 35%, and just wondering if we should be looking for a cheaper home.
Well, here's the thing. The whole reason for that ratio of 25% is for people not to sign up for something that causes them to be so pinched in their budget that they're tempted to go into debt for things they should have been saving up for. In other words, if the house payment is pinching your budget so tight that every little thing that comes up looks like it's going to be a new debt, then that's being house poor, and that's the thing. So 35% doesn't kill you, particularly if you are on a career path where you're going to see your income come up, and it's not going to be 35% for long. It's going to be 30%,
Sure.
And then later on it's going to be 25%. So I don't know that we have to panic about this, but it's just a matter of do not be continuously engaging in a process that makes you broke, that makes your monthly cash flow pinched. And so, as long as you have a good career path and you think you're going to see your income coming up, I wouldn't panic and jump ship on it at this stage. Now, if you're going to go buy a home, don't do that. Okay, don't go buy a home and take on 35% and go, oh, well, my income's going to go up. No, that's twisting my words. That's not what I'm saying. But you're already in a house. Are we going to sell the house, move, go through all that expense when in 24 or 36 months your ratios would have been all right anyway because your income came up? No, I'm not going to do that. But don't go signing up for these things in the future that put you in a pinch. That's the whole point of the thing. So, Ken, the Great Resignation is underway. A lot of people, 55% of Americans, one survey says, are thinking about changing jobs actively right now. Yep. Couldn't be a better time for us to launch a book, From Paycheck to Purpose, The Clear Path to Getting Work You Love. Yeah. I think your book's timing might be just maybe the best I've ever seen.
Yeah, we believe so, because people are changing for a variety of reasons. So whether or not you just want to get promoted, make more money, you're doing what you really enjoy now, you just want to move up, get a bigger shovel to get through the baby steps, or you're just showing up to a 9 to 5 and you feel like you're just miserable when you pull up in the parking lot Monday morning, or you just want to find what is that meaningful work. This book really helps everybody who wants to work on purpose, who wants more than a job, who wants to make income and impact. And the 7 stages that we unpacked in the book, no matter who you are, where you are, will get you there. And that's why we're so excited about it. Everybody knows that there's something they're supposed to do, but they just wonder, how do I get there? Is it possible? And the answer is yes, there is a clear path.
Yeah, just a couple of weeks before we ship these books are in pre-sale right now. If you want $100 worth of extra items, including the ebook, including the audio book, including a whole bunch of other things, go ahead and get the book now for $20, and you get over $100 worth of bonus tools, resume templates and guides, a video course that'll coach you through the interview process, all of this. From Paycheck to Purpose at Ramsey Solutions. Go ahead and pre-order it now. Our question of the day comes from Blinds.com. Find out for yourself why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings with free samples, free shipping, and the new promos they run all the time. You will, you'll save even more. Use the promo code Ramsey.
Today's question comes from Amit in Michigan. I'm 30 years old and I work for a local credit union, and we get quarterly reviews. I've met expectation for my next review, and I've upped my skill set. I want to ask for a sizable raise after working really hard during the lockdown, where half of my team worked remotely. During that time, one coworker and I have been in the office whenever it was open, and I recently found out that one of my coworkers is making $15,000 to $17,000 more than me. And when this person takes time off, I'm responsible for making sure their tasks get done. The only person who knows how much work I put in is my manager. I currently work over 60 hours a week. I do love my job and the company I'm working for, but it is hard when I know I'm putting in more work than everyone else and getting paid less. Well, we've heard this question before, and unfortunately, the psychology around this kind of information that you've gotten is really hard to overcome because you are now aware and you are comparing yourself, and that is a very dangerous place to be in because you can't do much about this. In this situation, when you go into your next review, leveraging this information isn't going to help you. I wouldn't do it. What I would talk about is a growth plan. I would lay out how much you love the company as you put in this email, and that you want to be here and you want to grow, not just professionally but financially, but you lead with professional growth. What are some areas that I can get better in where I'm a little bit weak? What are some skills, some tools I can add to my tool belt that will allow me to A, get more responsibility, drive greater value, B, and then C, grow financially as well. That's the posture by which you approach this so that your leaders get some buy-in. They see your hunger, but also your humility. And that's all you can do. And if you've got healthy leadership, they're going to respond. And they're going to talk about a growth plan and then measure the growth that's tied to compensation. If they are not going to address this and they kick the can down the road, this is a sign that it may be time for you to move on. And where you see a ladder and not a lid.
Yeah, that's the thing. And so there is nothing wrong with saying, in my mind, and you can correct me, Ken, how can I add value that will make you want to give me more money because I'd like to see some more income, but I want to be worth it.
Yes, that's exactly
Instead of, I deserve this because so-and-so.
That's right.
If you say I deserve this because of 60 hours, I deserve this because so-and-so, the entitlement, I deserve this thing, is one of the most negative possible emotions that you can generate. And you've gotten yourself kind of down in that hole a little bit here.
Yeah.
A little bit of a pity party going on in the email there.
Oh, sure.
And rightly so, but still, it's a wrong posture for you to get ahead.
You're not supposed to know what your coworker makes. And this is why. Because it's almost impossible to
not
deal positively with that. And that's why I laid it out. When you sit with your leader, you don't ask for a raise, you ask for a growth plan. You lead with, as you notice what I said first, where can I get better? What are some areas where you think I could get better?
How can I add value that makes you want to give me? I own Ramsey Solutions. If you come in my office and I'm doing a review with you or whatever, or we're talking, or even you just came in randomly and said, listen, I'd like to make more money, and the way I want to do that is I want to be worth more. How can I be worth more? How can I add value? Versus I actually had a guy come in my office many years ago, had more degrees than a thermometer, overeducated fool, and said, show me his resume. A guy like me that has this many degrees, we usually make like a lot more than I make now. And I said, well, you're working a small business, son. And he said, what do you mean? I said, well, small business works like this. Your raise is effective when you are. I don't give a crap about your degrees. When you do something, I'll share it with you. That's how it works in a small business. But I got a degree, so I got 6 degrees. So, what are you, a black belt?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. No. So that didn't play in Dave's office.
No.
And it won't play anybody else's either, by the way.
That's exactly right.
Not because I'm a jerk. It's just that's the way it is.
Yeah.
Open phones at 888-825-5225. Again, this is launch day for the new documentary. Borrowed Future is available where any great documentaries are seen. For instance, you can see it on Apple TV. You can rent it for $4.99 on any of these locations, including Google Play, Apple TV, Amazon Prime. Thank you. There's another one floating around.
I got to decide which one I'm going to watch it on.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just do all 3 of them.
Well, we're number 2 right now. We launched it this morning.
Yes.
And we're number 2 among documentaries on Apple right now.
That's great.
So it's already come out of the gate pretty strong. And I got to tell you, when you guys watch this thing, you're going to tell everybody you know they have to watch it. It is amazing.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of our team. Borrowed Future. How student loans are killing the American dream, out today. This is The Ramsey Show. friend or family member that needs a daily dose of Ramsey advice in their life? Let them know about the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast. It's a quick hit of advice about life and money in under 10 minutes. Check out the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host, Ken Coleman, Ramsey personality, host of the Ken Coleman Show, where he talks about careers and jobs, author of the #1 best-selling book, The Proximity Principle, and the new book, From Paycheck to Purpose. He is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Samantha is with us in San Francisco. Hi, Samantha. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing good. How are you today?
Better than we deserve. What's up?
Well, I wanted to ask you guys, especially Ken, about possibly giving me some direction on where I should go career-wise at this point. I currently am in an electrical apprenticeship. It's actually the family trade, bunch of electricians, but I'm starting to realize that it's not really for me. I'm a single mom, and so there's a lot of pressure when it comes to trying to balance that as well as balance this career as well. It just it seems as though I keep having these roadblocks, put in front of me, and so it doesn't seem like I'm going down the right path. And because I'm starting to feel that way, I've been thinking about some other career options that might be good for me, and I just want to make sure that if I do change careers, that I do go down the right path instead of, walking down another path and realizing that it's not for me again.
Sure. What's the big idea? Is there a leading idea in the clubhouse right now?
Yeah, well, I have two ideas. One of them is actually your idea. I was thinking about, being that I'm here in the Silicon Valley area, going to Bethel Tech and trying to get a certification with them to become a UX designer, because there's a lot of open jobs for that here. Okay. So that was one option. And then if nothing else mattered and I followed my heart, I would try to go do producing. I really like the idea of that. I did a lot of stage management in high school, so I did a lot of the live production type management and back behind the scenes type of work. And, I really do love that kind of work, but I understand that would take me getting a little bit more qualified in the professional setting before I could actually make that a career.
Yeah, what does that look like? Just fast forward real quick. Take me up the ladder. I have a good idea of that industry, but you've got a better idea. What would that look like if everything was just equal and we could fast forward you there and you're making the money you want to make? What would you be doing? Where would you be doing it?
Yeah, I love the idea of, the producing live events. I thought a lot about doing professional stage management for a long time, but I don't think that the purpose would really be behind professional stage management. I'm in live theater, so I was thinking more like live events that help people, talk shows and that kind of deal. Okay, so
I'm glad you gave me that specific. I want to encourage you on something. There is a path to get to that. And I will tell you that you're already qualified to do that. The fact that you've done some production work in the background, in your background, your career background, you are qualified now. If you've got the talent of organization and detail management, you've got some good personal skills and connecting with people, and you're a good coordinator is the word that's coming to mind, you can do that. And you can get in. If you do a great job, you can do well. In fact, I've got a friend who lives in the Nashville area who, now he's been doing this 25 years, who now gets called for just every LA award show that you can imagine. I see him on TV all the time. He's a professional stage manager. Now that's more,
Wow, that's very cool.
Yeah, so I just want to share with you that that's possible. Okay. So now it's about, I'm a single mom. I want to get out of this trade. That's not right. Being an electrician, that's kind of not my jam. I'm thinking about technology as a UX designer. I got to tell you, I like the idea of you moving into a good, solid day job okay, that takes care of you and the child or the children, and we got some great stability, and then you begin to work live events on the side. That's going to be some weekends, maybe a little bit of travel. But if you can travel some and get in that live event industry, and as a contractor, and we at Ramsey Solutions hire some, not many, but some live event producers, you can get in that way and begin to build it. And with that technology background and degree and qualification, I think it gives you, I think it's both and. I think that'll be a really nice, stable path, because you're going to have to build relationships over time and get in. And then once you realize I'm in and I can make the income I need, then I step into that. So I think you've got either or. If you can make the connections now and get in the live event space and make what you need to make, I'd say go now. If you need to build up to that, then I would look at technology as a very safe day job.
Brian is in Jonesboro, Arkansas. Hey, Brian, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Dave, Ken, it's an honor to talk to you.
You too. What's up?
I've always had a low self-esteem, and I recently went through a separation and divorce. How do I grow my net worth without confusing it with self-worth?
Well, let me reverse that. Who builds a big net worth, and what type of person builds a big net worth and confuses it with self-worth?
I'm not sure. I would. Someone with a low self-esteem.
No, not at all. No, because low self-esteem is not. You don't confuse net worth. If you have a high net worth and a low self-esteem, you're not confusing it. So that's not the case. The person that becomes, what we're saying is, someone becomes wealthy and they become a jerk, or they become power hungry, or they think they're all that. And so what they are is they're spiritually and emotionally, psychologically shallow. They have no spiritual depth to their life. They have no psychological depth to their life. And let me help you with this. A person who asks this question is not prone to that.
Yeah.
The person I'm talking about would never ask this question. They would never go, I'm confusing my net worth with my self-worth. I'm all that because I've got $1 million. That's somebody that made that confusion, and that's a shallow, entitled little jerk, and whether they're a 58-year-old little jerk or an 18-year-old little jerk. But you're not going to have that problem. No.
Brian, I just hear failure all over you.
Yeah, you've been through such hell, is what it sounds like.
Some tough stuff, and you're starting to question how valuable you are. And so I think I'm going to give you two practical answers to your question. Number one, you need to get around some people who know you really well, who can remind you of how valuable you are to them. Secondly, I want you to just do a little self-exercise and just begin to get to know Brian again and ask yourself, what do I do really well? What have people complimented me on in my life?
I think I messed that up. I think he was saying I've got a low net worth, so I think I have a low self-worth.
He is. He's.
I was flipping it. I went the other way.
Well, I was going where you're going.
My God.
He's struggling financially and in his relationships, and he's going, I'm having a hard time seeing if I'm valuable because I don't have any money.
Yeah, okay. Well, your value is
Extremely
intrinsic.
valuable.
Your value as a person, your value as a human has nothing to do with your money.
That's right.
But that's just, that's a normal transaction when you've gotten the crap beat out of you like you have with the loss of relationships and everything else.
So one other quick
I'm
thing.
sorry. I completely blew that.
No, that's okay. But Brian, here's what I want you to do.
I'm apologizing to you.
Oh, I know. But I'm just saying it's okay. But Brian, here's what I want you to do. I want you to find some people to add value to. Volunteer. Go love on somebody. Go do something valuable for somebody and feel the value that you can bring.
Be of help to someone. Serve, and that will raise your self-worth, and it is independent of your net worth. I'm so sorry I messed that up.
If you're ready to get out there and find a job you love, then you need to hear this. Job hunting can be stressful and time-consuming, but my friends at ZipRecruiter have made the whole job search way easier. ZipRecruiter is rated the #1 job site in the U.S. by G2, and it's free. So how does it work? First, go to ZipRecruiter.com/Ken. Then create a free profile and let their technology do the hard work by finding and sending you jobs that are a great fit. And get this, ZipRecruiter pitches your profile to companies whose jobs match your skills and experience. If someone from that company likes your profile, they can personally invite you to apply for the job. So if you're ready for an easier job search, check out ZipRecruiter. Sign up for free right now at ZipRecruiter.com/Ken. That's ZipRecruiter.com/Ken. Sign up today absolutely free and let ZipRecruiter work for you.
In the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage, Jimmy's with us. Hi, Jimmy. How are you?
Dave, I'm great. How are you?
Better than I deserve, sir. So where do you live?
White Plains, New York.
White Plains. All right. Very cool. Welcome to Nashville. And how much debt have you paid off, Jimmy?
I've paid off just over $97,000.
Very cool. How long did that take you, sir?
Just about 5 years.
Love it. And your range of income during that time?
Talking about pay after tax, 53 to start and finishing up at 78.
Good for you. What do you do for a living?
I am a training specialist. I work for a large engineering company. So if your employees here at Ramsey have to take any of those computerized e-learning modules, I make those for the company that I work for.
Ah, okay. Good for you. Very cool. What kind of debt was your $97,000?
It was a car and 2 student loans, one private, one federal.
Ah, okay. So what put you on this Ramsey journey thing 5 years ago?
So in my family, anytime you have a question about money, my cousin Steven, he's a little older than me. He's in his 50s. He's the guy you talk to about money. Quick background on him. He's in his early 50s, owns a mini mansion in North Carolina, free and clear, is retired already after putting 2 kids through college. So that's who you want to be when you grow up.
Gotcha.
So I had a question for him.
Want to be Cousin Steve, yeah.
Cousin Steve. So I had a question for him, something about my 401k back when I was new with my current company. So I called him and I was asking him whatever it was that I had to ask him about the 401k. And he goes, hold on, time out, stop for a minute. Let's take a step back. You just finished your master's, right? Yes, Steve. Okay, how much student loan debt do you have hanging out? I told him the embarrassingly high number of student loan debt that I had. And he goes, all right, have you heard of Dave Ramsey? And I said, actually, yes. And the reason that I have was because my mother actually had the exact copy of Total Money Makeover that I brought with me here today sitting on her coffee table at her house.
It's a great coaster.
It really was. I think I used it a few times myself before I realized what exactly it was. So my apologies for that.
It's all good. It's America's greatest coaster.
So anyway, so he goes, read that book and then talk to me later and we'll see how you're doing. I read that book and it literally completely changed my life. And I'm not just saying that to blow smoke, Dave.
Wow.
Really, I never thought about money the same way again.
Wow. I like Cousin Steve.
Yeah.
He's my greatest promo guy. Way to go, Steve. That's cool, Jimmy.
He kind of handled it like I think you would. He was like, hold on, let's just go back. He just cut him off and said, no.
I'm not going to talk to you about your 401k until you read your mother's coaster.
That's right. I love him.
Get the coaster off the coffee table.
And I don't think we even finished the conversation about the 401k. From there on out, it was all about the debt.
Yeah, and you got done. And 5 years later, here you sit. All of it's gone. Car, student loans, everything. Sitting with a master's degree. Your master's is in what?
Industrial and organizational psychology.
Which he uses every day.
Yes, he does. Good
Fabulous,
for you.
Yeah. And thus you are doing that. That's beautiful. I like it. Very cool. Very cool, Jimmy. I love it. How's it feel to be free?
Oh, it's tremendous, Dave. It's like having a 400-pound monkey no longer on your back.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What do you tell people? You're a trainer. What's the key to getting out of debt?
Ignore and drown out all the noise. As you're going through this process, I mean, I live in New York. I meet a lot of people that wear very expensive suits and sound like they really know what they're talking about when it comes to money. I've had people try to get me into cryptocurrency. People try to get me into pyramid schemes. I mean, all kinds of things that we're going to take away from my total money makeover debt-free journey. And sometimes they make points that like make sense for a second, and then you're like, wait a minute, no, I listen to Dave Ramsey. That's what I'm going to do. So it's drowning out all that noise, staying the course, and really just being focused on it.
Wow. Submitting to the plan.
Exactly.
And stick to the plan, stick to the plan, stick to the plan. Good for you. Very well done, sir. Wow, this is powerful.
It is. I'm curious, is there a moment you can look back to where you said, okay, I caught some serious momentum, or did you just, from day one, you were a bull and you never let up?
The momentum, and this is where I think the snowball method is really, really effective. It was, I had one of the student loans was for $3,000, so that was easy, cash. Then came the car. I had, I think, $11,000 left on the car at that point. Once I paid off the car, and now I had $280 from the car plus $30 for that other one, $330, which for me back then was a lot of money at the time. Now that I had that free to apply towards the largest debt, which was the largest student loan, that was the point where it was like, all right, now I'm really making progress. Now we're really going to see this thing take off.
Awesome. Wow. How important is that to experience that momentum in this journey?
It's essential, because if you don't feel it here, your head is not going to listen to what's in here if what's in here is not there, if that makes sense.
Does it make sense, man? You're preaching. Somebody ought to tweet that. That's phenomenal what you just said. That's really good.
Very well done. Very well done. Congratulations, Jimmy. I'm proud of you.
Thank you, Dave and Ken.
Proud of Cousin Steve.
Oh, he'll be so happy because I'm going to show him the clip once this airs, so he'll be.
That's awesome.
He'll laugh for sure.
I love it. Was he one of your cheerleaders as you went through this?
Absolutely. He was. Of course, my family, mother, father, sister, they were all very supportive. But who I really have to thank is the Ramsey community, because they were my accountability partners. I mean, if you notice, I'm standing up here all by myself. I don't have a spouse. I don't have kids. There was nobody to really hold me accountable for doing all of this per se. But when I turned on YouTube 3-4 times a week to watch the replay from the show, just hearing the phone calls and seeing the reactions and the emotion from people when they did their screams and just hearing all their stories, that's what kind of held me accountable. So I did this not only for myself, but kind of also as what I felt was an obligation to the Ramsey community. So a thank you to the entire Ramsey community of listeners, seriously, from my heart to yours.
I love it. Love this guy. This is great. What a powerful thing. We got a copy of The Legacy Journey for you, a new coaster for your mom's table, and a copy of the Total Money Makeover for you to give away, so that can be a coaster on someone else's table. Hey, but it hangs out long enough, eventually it gets read. I'm going with this plan.
Multi-purpose,
It's a long play. It's not a short game.
Yeah.
It's a long game play, but I'm going with it. It's working for me. Well done, Jimmy. Very well done. All right, Jimmy from Yonkers, New York, $97,000 paid off in 5 years, making 53 to 78. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. I'm debt-free!
Yeah! Woo! Yeah! I love it. That is so fun. I think that whole segment was tweetable.
Oh, I know. I mean, that screen rate, I want to tackle somebody, and I don't tackle anybody. But I want he's ready to go. I mean, the sheer passion from this guy. And how about the shout out to the entire community? And I think that's a really interesting point, that there's a whole bunch of people that we get the privilege to serve. And in serving them, they end up encouraging each other. It really is the community. It's amazing. You know, all the people in Ramsey Plus and all the people that have come to the events all the years, all the people that are on the Facebook page, it's amazing to see that here's a single guy who shouted out all the other people he came in contact with on the same journey.
Yep.
That's really cool.
And there's that, well, it gives you permission to do stuff that the rest of the culture is not doing. When you look around, you go, okay, there's about a bazillion other smart people doing what I'm doing.
Exactly right.
And yes, there's a bunch of crazies out there in the toxic culture, but but there is this oasis of humans that are engaged in transformation. They're engaged in doing the work, the hard work of change.
That's right.
And changing is hard.
Wow. Get yourself a community, even if it's on the Facebook page or on the YouTube channel. Get in community. It's vital.
Way to go, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Proud of you, man. Good stuff. Way to go, Cousin Steve. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Everybody needs a Cousin Steve. Most people don't have one, though. That's a privilege right there.
I feel like we should get Cousin Steve on the line, James. I mean, wouldn't that guy be a great interview at some point?
This is The Ramsey Show.
If you're considering a career in technology, I recommend Bethel Tech, and I'm not alone. Here's what Brendan said. Before Bethel Tech, I was driving Uber. Within 4 months of graduating, I got a job paying $60,000. About 2 years after that, I got a remote job that pays me $130,000, all thanks to what I learned at Bethel Tech. You could be next. Get started today at BethelTech.net and get $1,000 to $2,500 off of your tuition. Again, it's BethelTech.net/Ken Coleman.
Ramsey Personality is my co-host today in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage. Blake and Macy are with us. Hey guys, how are you?
We're good. How are you?
Better than we deserve. Where do you live?
We live in Dallas, Texas.
All right. Welcome to Nashville. And all the way up here to do a debt-free scream, how much have you paid off?
We have paid off $66,147.
Cool. How long did that take?
About 15 months.
Good for you. And your range of income during that time?
So we started out at $133,000, and then at the end of the 15, it was $143,000.
Cool. What do y'all do for a living?
I'm a mechanical engineer, and then...
I'm an escrow officer.
You're a what?
An escrow officer.
Oh, okay. Cool. Great. Very good. What kind of debt was this $66,000?
It was about 4 credit cards. With that, we financed our wedding, our honeymoon, just about everything.
Yeah, you name it, we put it on a credit card. A really expensive couch and both of our cars also. So it was 4 credit cards and 2 cars.
So you're just kind of normal.
Yeah, we were really normal.
Okay, so you come home from the expensive wedding, honeymoon, and the expensive cars are sitting in the driveway. How long have you been married?
Almost 4 years.
Okay, so you've been married a couple years, and you look up and say, we got to do something different. What introduced you to Ramsey? How'd you get this stuff going?
So my sister and brother-in-law actually had paid off a lot of over $175,000 a couple of years ago, and it was Thanksgiving of 2019, and we just found out we were pregnant, and so and I was just talking to her, at casual Thanksgiving dinner, and I was just kind of like, well, we have all this debt and we don't really know what to do, but I showed an interest in wanting to pay it off, and so she just very gently mentioned you and your podcast, and she was just like, this is easy to listen to, on the way to work or while you're working out or whatever. And so the very next day on our drive home, we listened to our first podcast and something just clicked. Blake he was the nerd, I'm the free spirit, and he has always been good with money. He tried to put us on a budget right when we first got married, and I laughed, and I was just like, no. But
no.
But after listening, I don't know, it was just something about, it was just easy to listen to you and just kind of get what we needed to get going, and then it clicked. And so that was Thanksgiving. And so January of 2020, we started executing our plan. We're like, okay, this is what we're going to do. You know, the baby steps, everything. My same sister and brother-in-law gifted us the Total Money Makeover. And so we read that in, you know, like a week, and then we were pretty gung-ho. And then COVID happened a couple months later. I was pregnant. And we were very lucky that we kept our jobs, and you know, we didn't have to lose any income, so that was a blessing. But so COVID actually helped us because we didn't do anything, we weren't going anywhere, and I was pregnant, so it was like we weren't really going to go out and do anything anyways. And so it was initially a 2-year goal, and we ended up doing it in 15 months.
Wow, you blew through it, yeah.
Yeah, and it was all the debt snowball is just, it works. It gave us all the momentum in the world. So
what was maybe one of the most radical, kind of get after it, intense things you guys did in this journey?
So I think one of the things was saying no to everything. So like it was so hard that, you know, we're sitting there and all our friends are going to beautiful trips and everything, or they're wanting to go to dinner or anything, and we were just having like, no, I'm sorry, we can't. And it was just hard, the fear of missing out type thing. But once we got over that, and then
I think probably one of the things was we were expecting our first child, and so I wanted to go crazy with the nursery and doing all the things, you know, that a mom wants to with their first kid. And
well, that's unusual. No one ever does that.
Yeah, and we didn't have any money because we were paying off all this debt, and so we didn't buy one piece of furniture for the nursery. Everything was given to us, or hand-me-downs. Or, I mean, we didn't have to go or use any of our money for our snowball. And
it turns out 2-month-olds aren't that picky about where they sleep.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Right. So I think that was probably one of the hardest.
Yeah, that's hard. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. Not decorating the nursery except with things that folks give you. That's a big deal.
Yeah, and it ended up being cute.
I like it a lot, but it's a big deal. Yeah, very cool. Good for you guys. Well, you just prove the difference in a need and a want. The kid needs a place to sleep. A want is everything you want around them. They don't even know what's there. Right. But it's all about mom making a nest and dad making a nest, or dad making mom a nest, or however that works. But yeah, it's real.
Yeah, so absolutely.
And people spend an amazing amount of money on that stuff. So.
Oh yeah, and the baby literally does not care at all.
Not even a little bit. Yeah. Not even a little bit. Yeah. So way to go, you guys. All right, what do you tell people the key to getting out of debt is?
One of the things that I think is communication and collaboration, but the main thing was the budget. And I think the Every Dollar app was just mind-blowing for us. And we sat down every month, and at the beginning of it, you know, we assessed what we could do. And then, you know, at the end of it, it was easy to say no. When the category was 0, it's sorry. And then
I would just say, going into it knowing that, you know, mentally it's a short-term sacrifice for a long-term reward. I mean, if you go into it thinking, oh, this is going to be a breeze. I mean, nobody really thinks it's going to be a breeze. But if you think that it's going to be easier than it really is, then I think people get stuck a few months in and they get frustrated and they just give up. And I think we just sat down every month and was just like, this is our goal, this is what we want to do. And 15 months is literally nothing in the grand scheme of things. And so, right. And I mean, I'm so glad we did that. It's an amazing feeling, especially now having the baby. He's 15 months old now, and it's a whole new world. I can't imagine us still having that much debt and also taking care of, you know, a baby. It's just
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Who were your biggest cheerleaders outside the two of you?
Definitely my sister and brother-in-law that got us on the journey.
Started, yeah.
Every time we paid off a credit card, we'd send them a screenshot of
Yeah, I like it.
They celebrated us through and through. And then my parents and Blake's parents and just...
Yeah, and even like our friends and coworkers, like everyone was super supportive.
They really were.
That's cool.
Loved the journey for us.
That's cool. So who all came on the trip with you?
My parents and our baby is over there.
Yeah, okay. All right, cool. All right, your baby's name is what?
Asher.
Now, do you want Asher in the shot for this, or you think he's going to make it? All right, cool. Very cool. Good. We've got a copy of The Legacy Journey for you. That is the next chapter in your story for sure. You've changed your family tree. Way to go, you guys. Excellent job. And a copy of the Total Money Makeover for you to give away when someone at Thanksgiving mentions that they need some help. You'll have a book you can hand them. Very good stuff. Blake and Macy and Asher. Asher's life has been changed by his mom and dad. Indeed. Dallas, Texas, $66,000 paid off in 15 months, making 133 to 143. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1.
We're debt-free!
I love it. Well, at the break, we're going to interview Asher about the psychological damage of having been brought home from the hospital into a used baby bed.
Yeah. You can just see the little guy scarred right there.
He looks like he struggled.
Yeah, he looks as though
looks like
he's
it's,
been
the
neglected.
wallpaper on the wall was not right in that nursery.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, there's a permanent damage done here.
Didn't have a brand
Those
new...
parents should be ashamed.
What do they call those things that like hang over the... Thank you, Dave. Papa
Dave knows the baby
I've already
stuff, baby.
Forgotten all the baby
Papa
stuff.
Dave's got all the baby stuff dialed in now.
Yeah.
Including the expensive nurseries, although I didn't write a single check for any of them. But I am privy to the process.
You've toured all of them.
I've toured all of them at length, at various times of day, and even into the evenings.
Yes.
It has happened. So, but hey, same thing happened when the Ramsey kids were coming home a million years ago, or the Coleman kids. You gotta have a special room, gotta have a special thing. But we in America go nuts. What we spend on our pets would support Egypt.
Oh, don't even get me started on that one.
I love my pets, and you love yours too.
I do.
But man, oh man, what we spend on Halloween, what Americans spend on Halloween would do away with hunger for most of the people in America that have hunger issues.
By the way, the kids these days, Dave, are getting full-size candy bars. I grew up in their old days when we got little miniature,
little ones, the little half of a bite.
Oh, that's what's wrong with the world these days.
I'm just saying, it's just a spoil. It's just awful. It's just awful. This is the Ramsey Show. Well, you're hearing all these debt-free screams, and you're thinking about fall stuff you got to buy, like Halloween candy and jackets and sweaters. Christmas is coming up. Christmas sneaks up on people every year like they move it or something. It's always in December. I'll just put Christmas on a credit card again. What do you think you are, in Congress? Hey, when you plan ahead with a budget, you can keep Christmas from getting out of control, and the best way to do that is with our world-class budgeting tool, EveryDollar. And you can sync up with that and go through Financial Peace University at Ramsey Plus with a Ramsey Plus membership. And EveryDollar working along with Financial Peace University inside Ramsey Plus gives you everything you want. Stress-free. You can get control. You can be these people you were just listening to. Start budgeting with EveryDollar by texting BUDGET to 33789. Text BUDGET to 33789. Dan is with us in Hudson, Wisconsin. Hey, Dan, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, Dave. Thank you. How you doing?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Just want to give you and Ken and your team a huge shout out. My wife and I recently became 100% debt free.
Way to go.
Business and everything. So we are super grateful for all you and your team do. My question, so now we're on baby step 7. Part of what we're doing, we're self-employed. We have a small business, is to up the contributions for our IRAs for our employees.
Oh, good.
We currently have a simple IRA. We're matching 3%. And I was told that 3% is the max that we can do in a simple IRA.
That's true.
Okay. And then would it be worth going into a 401k? And I was...
How many employees do you have?
In that, we have 6.
Talk with your SmartVestor Pro about this. The simple IRA is a 401k for small business, but it is very structured. It requires that you put in 3%, no more, no less, as a match, and it's 100% vested from day one for anybody that goes in. The 401k could cost you as much as $5,000 or $10,000 a year in administrative fees, and across 5 or 6 employees, that seems like a waste. So it might be the way to do this is with a SEP IRA. You can do that in addition to the simple IRA. The SEP plan, the Simplified Employee Pension Plan, says any employee that's been with you more than 3 of the last 5 years, you are required to put into that the same percentage of your income that you put in for you. That's why a lot of people don't use it. So it works really good for a solopreneur, like if I want to just dump a bunch of money into a retirement plan. But if I've got employees been with me more than 3 of the last 5 years and I put in 15% of my income, I have to put in 15% of their income for them. And so you're wanting to do that, so this might work really well for you. You know, you're not required to put in any amount, but and you can change it year to year. So you could come up on the end of the year and go, hey, this year I'm going to put in 7% of my income, and I'm going to put in 7% of everybody else's, in addition to doing the simple.
Okay.
And so the good news about it is it would give you flexibility. You don't have to do anything, depending on how your profits go that year, and you could decide. You know, you could do a little bit through the year and then pop it up at the end and, you know, jack the numbers up at the end of the year if you wanted to. So check with your SmartVestor Pro. If you're not working with one, go to RamseySolutions.com and click SmartVestor. Those are the people we recommend in the investment world. It'll drop down a list of the ones in your area. You can pick one from that list, and they'll all be people that we have vetted and people that have the heart of a teacher. Very cool when a guy has 6 employees and wants to make sure he's taking care of their retirement.
Brings up the old phrase, Dave, you said 1 billion times, if you live like no one else, later you can live and give like no one else. And this is the backbone of America right here. This is a young man. They've done the hard work. They've become debt-free. Now he wants to pour into his employees. I mean, that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
That right there.
No one requiring.
No, he's
that.
calling and asking advice.
It was not a law that was passed. It was not an executive order.
No.
It was not the IRS looking into his bank account.
No.
It wasn't any of that stuff. It was just a guy who did well and thought, you know, I want to share with the team that helped me get here.
Yeah.
And knowing that they could leave and take that money with them.
Yeah.
They can at any time. That's the rule. But what a great heart. I love that.
Yes.
Robert is with us in California. Hey, Robert, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hello. So my question is very related to Ken's book that he's been working on, and basically I have 2 job offers, both really good offers, but one of them is substantially higher than the other, and the one that's higher is working for a really big tech corporation that I wouldn't necessarily be super excited about, and the one that's lower is a job I'd be much more excited about, but it's a lot lower. It's like $70,000 less. So I'm wondering what are
the 2 numbers?
It's like 240 total compensation versus 170.
Mm-hmm.
Doing what?
Software development.
For the tech corporation, what's the other option? The 170.
240 and 170.
Yeah, but is it both tech jobs, tech development?
Yeah, they're both software. Which one's a big company and one's not?
They're both software development, but the smaller, the lower one is a smaller company that's doing work that I think is actually interesting, where I would be much more excited to like go to my job every day as opposed to just making a lot more.
All right, so let's ask this question. For that company, you're more excited. Is there a ladder? What does it look like a year, 2, 3 years down the line if you take the 170 doing the work that you're interested in?
So they've definitely assured me that there's a ladder, but it's a little harder to find information on how much of a ladder there is, because the company's the lower salary one that I'm more excited about is only a year and a half old as a company. So there's not a lot of information on how the ladder's been for other people.
Yeah. What do you make currently? You've got 2 offers. What are you currently making?
I currently make about 130. So they're both increases. Obviously, one's a huge increase. So
yeah, let me ask you this: if both of them were the same pay, which one would you choose?
Oh, I would definitely choose the smaller company by far if they were the same pay.
So to me, this is the advice I give. Dave may disagree, and he wouldn't be wrong. But I have talked to enough people on the Ken Coleman Show and the Ramsey Show that have taken the promotion or taken an offer that was more money, and they'll call me back and they'll say, I took it, and I'm miserable now, or I don't have the meaning. I wish I was doing the other work. And I think that you've got to remove the money from the equation because you're not going backwards on either. And you've got to say, what is it that I want to do? Why do I enjoy option 2 more than option 1? And if there is a ladder, and it seems that there is, I'm always going to say, follow your heart and do the work that you're excited about if there is a ladder. And it sounds like there. So that's where I would go because I think money's not enough to sustain you.
Completely agree. Only I'm going to do a modified option 1. I'm going to go back in and go, guys, my heart is here. This is what I want to do. I love what you're doing. I want to be plugged in. I got this other offer for $240.
Yeah.
Help me figure out a way to come here.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're not going to go to 240.
I didn't say that.
Yeah.
I didn't say you had to match it. I just said, help me figure out a way to come here. And then they, and it could be that they very clearly outline a detailed ladder on a calendar.
Yes.
It could be that they offer you stock options in this startup that are worth a whole heck of a lot more than 70.
Right, that's true.
They could give you some points in the deal,
man.
man.
What the stock is going to be worth.
You take you a couple deal points and you take this job.
Yeah.
But you go back in and you just smile and you just say, I really want to come here. Help me figure out a way.
Right, that's a great point.
And then just let them squirm and start answering that question that you don't tell them what the answer is. And here's what's going to happen. A, they're going to give you a more than 170. B, they're going to offer a ladder or something like that. And C, they may even offer you points in the deal. And none of those are on the table today. And one simple question, shut up. Let the pressure fall in the room on the other side of the table. Gently, kindly say, I really want to come here. These other people are offering me $240. Help me figure out a way to come. And I promise you, it will not result in anything but more money in this conversation. It's a wonderful negotiating tool. It'll work it'll just, hey man, that phone call's worth 20 grand. Shut up. And this show's free. There you go. You don't get this anywhere else in America, I can tell you that. Ken Coleman, good hour.
Thank you, sir, for having me.
James.
This is James Childs, producer of The Ramsey Show. You can listen to all our shows with the Ramsey Network app on your smartphone. Browse by topic or even send clips to your friends. Download the Ramsey Network app in your favorite app store today.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. And the paid-off student loan has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. George Camel Ramsey, personality, host of The Fine Print, a new podcast out on Ramsey Networks, is my co-host for this very special theme hour on The Ramsey Show. As we celebrate the launch of the new documentary, Borrowed Future, we're going to talk student loans this hour. If you want to talk about student loans, you got a question about student loans, you have a success story about student loans, you think they're awesome, you think they're the most horrible thing on the planet, you have an opinion about anything you want to talk about, as long as that's that subject, you call 888-825-5225, 888-825-5225. Borrowed Future is out of the gate. It is launched, George, and it's already moving the needle.
And it's climbing the charts, and for good reason. I've already seen the feedback. One woman said she's watched it twice already before 9 a.m. That's impressive. She was so fired up about this. She's telling everyone about it, her daughter, all of her friends.
Wow.
It's one of those that you can't help, but you have to tell everyone. You need to go watch this today.
If you don't know what Borrowed Future is, it's our new documentary. It launches today on Apple TV, on Google Play, and on Amazon Prime. And you can also watch it at borrowedfuture.com. And if you're a teacher, you can. It's all a standard documentary. It's what, $4.99 to rent it, whatever, $8.99 to buy it, or whatever the normal thing is on that stuff. And just like anything else, you look to see a first-class documentary on something. This is all about the student loan world, how student loans are basically killing the American dream. It's called Borrowed Future. Be sure you tune into it. Again, Amazon Prime, Google Play, Apple TV. It's number 2 in the documentary already today of all documentaries on Apple.
Yeah.
So it's moving. You guys are watching it like crazy. You're sharing it. If you're a teacher and you want to show this to your students, it's free. Go to borrowedfuture.com. I'm going to tell you that about 100 times this hour. But it's time to talk about these student loans and how out of control they are. George, did you have a student loan?
Yeah. I had $36,000. It was, I think, the average at the time. So I was very average.
How long did it take you to pay it off?
18 months once I got on this plan.
Once you got serious about it, you knocked it out fast, yeah.
I didn't realize you could get rid of them. I just thought it's something you just keep as a pet until your adult life and maybe take it to the grave if you have to.
Yeah. I had $3,200.
Wow.
Way back there. It was 1982, right? And, and I had way more than that on my Amoco card. My gas credit card, because in those days, if you went out in the country, you could buy a couch on your gas credit card. I mean, it was crazy stuff. So, but yeah, it was a different world, and certainly tuition was different, but so was the cost of living. Gasoline was under $1. That kind a gallon and that kind of thing. So that's how long ago that 1982 was for you people. But student loans have continued to grow to where it has become just a weight on people to where they can't breathe.
It's just so normal. I mean, most people you meet, that's the one thing you're going to have in common is, oh, you've got a student loan too. Great. How much is yours? And then you laugh about it because you can't fathom.
Because you can't cry about it, but only so much.
Exactly. When you can't cry, you laugh. And so this is a huge issue. And as we explored this 2 years ago while we were doing the Borrowed Future podcast,
which you hosted,
which I hosted, the documentary team was just getting started on this. So this was 2 years ago. And watching that team develop the story and iterate to tell the right story has been absolutely incredible.
Well, we're storytellers here, and I got to tell you, when you're telling a story, there's a process to telling a story. If you're going to do it properly, there's a villain, there's a hero, there's a guide, and there's a story arc. And there's a process you build to pull someone through a story. And we had a serious problem with this documentary. There were too many villains. There were villains everywhere.
You don't know who to point the finger at. Is it Sally Mae? Is it the guidance counselors? Is it the parents? Is it the student loan companies?
Do you blame
the
government? Person who signed up for the loan?
The person who signed up. There's so many.
Kind of hard to blame them, although they did sign up for it, but they're in just such a pitiful, horrible situation, and you want to cry with them rather than beat them up.
Yeah. We're not mad at you if you took out the student loan.
I mean, I'm not mad at it. I am mad at the banks. I think they're out of control. There's only been 2 or 3 times in my career, 30 years here on the air, that Elizabeth Warren and I have agreed on something. And because I'm a capitalist pig and she's a socialist. She's a very bright lady, and I've actually had her on the air here. Back in the day, we were fighting a bankruptcy bill that the Republicans put through at the behest of the bankers, and it was a bad bill, and it's a bad law, and it's still in place. Modifications to the bankruptcy law, and she and I were on the same side of that. Ted Kennedy was, the three of us were fighting against that, and we all lost, of course. But she's come out today, and of course, if you haven't heard, Navient, 6 million student loan borrowers are far better off after yet another major company announced it will shut down its services, Elizabeth Warren said. Like Elizabeth Warren caused Navient to shut down. Come on, Elizabeth, you didn't cause this. But yeah, no one is crying a tear that Navient is gone. Navient, one of the largest student loan companies, unveiled plans to end its federal loan services. The student loan industry on Tuesday received yet another major shakeup when Navient became the third company to announce its plans to end its federal student loan program amid regulatory crackdowns this year. Senator Elizabeth Warren had one message for the company: good riddance. I would agree with you, Senator Warren. Navient has spent decades misleading, cheating, and abusing student borrowers. The federal student loan program will be far better off without them. The federal student loan program would be far better off if it didn't exist, Senator Warren. It has not been a blessing to anyone except people like Navient and people like you who used it to get votes. Navient, which collects the federal student loan debt of $6 million borrowers, said in a press release that it's working with the Education Department to approve the transition of those borrowers to another loan company called Maximus.
That's a villainous name.
That's comforting. That's a comforting.
Maximus what? Interest?
Maximus interest.
That's scary.
Maximus Screwjob.
So you just get traded to the next
you
one.
You can't make this up. They're going to call it Maximus?
Oh, boy.
This is fabulous.
This is what's wild. Richard Cordray, head of the Federal Student Aid Office, he said earlier this month, student loan companies are choosing to shut down rather than face more accountability. So
yeah,
that's what's going on
because
here.
they've been screwing people.
They go, hey, this ship is sinking. Let's get out of here.
Well, we done got caught with our hand in the cookie jar. We got all the cookies out of this we're going to get. We're gone, baby. We're going to get out of here before we end up the subject of a federal investigation and get more than shut down.
Yeah.
That's what's going on here.
They're not doing anyone favors but themselves here.
Yeah. And I got to tell you, the Democrats and the Republicans did put pressure on Navient for its misbehavior. And thank you. I will go along with you, Senator Warren. Good riddance to Navient. Ciao, baby.
Student loans, we're bringing people from across the aisle, Dave.
Bring on Maximus. Bring on Maximus. Maximus Interestus. Maximus.
That's an
Maximus
Avengers villain.
Penalties.
That is an Avengers
Maximus
villain.
Penalties. Oh, I can't believe it. What makes our show unique is that we genuinely care about our listeners. We're intentional about choosing the best advertisers to recommend. Blinds.com is no exception. They offer high-quality window treatments at unbelievable prices, and they make it simple to shop blinds, shades, and interior shutters with easy online ordering, free shipping, and a guaranteed perfect fit. Go to Blinds.com and take advantage of this week's special savings. It's a student loan theme hour. We're talking student loans in honor of today's premiere launch of the new documentary, Borrowed Future. You can view it anywhere you view great documentaries like Google Play, Amazon Prime, Apple TV, and at borrowedfuture.com. Stockton is with us in Phoenix, Arizona. Hey, Stockton, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Good afternoon. I graduated graduate school a year ago with $200,000 student debt at 7%. My question is, the recommendation is to get out of debt except for a home. The home debt is okay. What if my student loans is as much as a home would cost? Is the recommendation to still pay off the student loans renting during that time? And if so, that'll be 10 plus years.
Wait a minute. What's your graduate degree in?
I'm a chiropractor.
Okay. And so what are you going to be making?
I just started a job here in Phoenix, $85,000 a year.
Okay, and so you plan to pay $15,000 a year on the student loans?
Yes.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah.
That's pretty lame. You ought to pay a lot more than $15,000 if you're making $80,000, and you should be making more than $80,000 as your chiropractic career grows. Would you agree with me?
Yeah, the hope is definitely to make more eventually as I grow in the company and whatnot.
Yeah.
The other issue
What did you make but the year before you graduated? What was your income?
$50,000. Associates in chiropractic can be taken advantage of, and I was last year, so I didn't make very good money last year.
Yeah. Okay. So what if you lived on $35,000 and put the rest of it towards the student loan debt?
Yeah, that was one of the reasons why we postponed getting a home is to hopefully throw more money at the student loans. The only issue is to live in a rental home where my wife and our kids feel comfortable walking the streets. Our rental is $1,600 a month, and that doesn't include the administration fees, the HOA fees, and other fees associated with the renting. So that's something that I struggle with, is being able to throw all my money at student loans, yet my rental, I feel like, is taking more money than it should.
I'll tell you, as a homeowner, it's very expensive. And I'm not talking about the mortgage payment versus the rent payment. I'm talking about home ownership in general. So if you can't afford to rent, you definitely can't afford to be a homeowner. And so what I want you to do is focus on these student loans first. I want you to buy a house. I want you to have that American dream. But as we talk about in the documentary, student loans are killing that dream because you've got this bear of a payment in your life. And you've got a great income, and it's going to continue to go up. And like Dave's saying, this thing's gone 3 to 4 years from now.
Stockton, here's the thing. You have two choices. You can go the way that your emotions are taking you, where you're justifying this and you're figuring out a way that it takes forever. And so you go ahead and buy a house, and now you've got a house payment, and you've got the cost of home ownership that George is talking about, and your career will move along, and it will take you 10 years to get out of debt or more if you go that route. Or you can do the thing that we have taught, and many, many chiropractors have done what I teach. And they roll up their sleeves and they say, not today. I'm going to engage in a different treatment program for the patient. I'm going to roll up my sleeves. We're going to do nothing around this house. We're not going to do anything except get out of debt. We're going to clean up this mess so that as my career grows, I get to actually keep the freaking money instead of sending it all to Sally Mae, Navient, or Maximus. So this is going to be too much fun. I look forward to the next decade of this. Well, and so but right now the state of mind you're in, you're going to be in debt a long time because you bought the lie that you're stuck. And you bought the lie that you might as well just keep this like it's a freaking backache, or you can do I just told a chiropractor like a backache. I just said that. I did that on purpose. That was a metaphor that he would understand. And so, I hope. So you're going to either engage in the extreme measures to get the extreme results, or you're going to be normal. And I sound like you talking to one of your patients with the treatment program you put in. So you got to decide, physician, heal thyself. Sierra is with us. Sierra is in, whoa, what did I do there? She's in, I got you, didn't I? I got it. I managed to pull it off. In San Antonio. Hey, Sierra, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Now, to backstory for our listeners, you were here just the other day with your parents who did their debt-free scream. They were amazing. You were amazing. And we called you back because of, while they're doing their debt-free scream and talking about getting out of debt, they said, and oh, by the way, our daughter who was going into college while we're getting out of debt managed to go and get her degree debt-free. And you're an impressive young lady. I remember meeting you the other day. Thanks for coming on with us.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. It was a lot of fun being able to watch my parents tell their story, and then now I get the chance to tell mine, so I'm super excited.
Cool. So your degree is in what?
I got a degree in marketing.
From where?
Stephen F. Austin State University in Nacogdoches, Texas, Axum Jacks.
There you go. And you did this 100% debt-free. How weird are you? How did you do that?
Yeah, so it really all started with a plan that my dad and I put together my senior year of high school. It was getting down to the wire. I pretty much had my own plan actually figured out. I thought I did at the time. I had the school I wanted to go to. I had the acceptance letter. I had, room and board figured out. I just didn't have the money to pay for it. So that was the biggest thing that I had to figure out. And so, my parents sat me down and they were like, look, we want you to go to school. We're just not going to go into debt in order for you to do that. And so I kind of had to just come into terms with the fact that I wasn't going to have that first year college experience that I was looking forward to, but there was a bigger picture at hand. And so my dad and I devised a plan, and we basically figured out how much it was going to take or how much I would have to save to go to the university of my choice, which was SFA, for the last 2 years, so 4 semesters. We got that number, and then we figured out how much I needed to be saving monthly in order to reach that goal at the end of my first 2 years at my community college. And so while I went to community college for the first 2 years, I worked, I would say, at least 40 hours a week every week, and I was saving pretty much my entire check.
What were you doing? What kind of work?
Oh, I worked at a local grocery store.
And you were how old?
I was 17 at the time.
So 17, 18 years old, you're in community college for the first 2 years, and you're working and saving to do the last 2 years at your dream school.
Correct.
Wow.
Right. So
and you
then,
did that? Is that what happened?
Yes, I did. I was making about, I want to say maybe $13 an hour, and I was able to actually finish a community college a little bit early. I finished in 3 semesters instead of 4. So because of the high school credits that I took, the college credits that I took in high school, I was able to finish up.
Oh, so you did like some AP classes that got college credit?
Correct. They were like dual credit courses.
Yeah, which sped up how fast you got through and you didn't have to take those classes, so it saved you money.
Correct.
Ding, 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 ding.
Wow.
Yeah, so that helped me out a lot. I was able to finish an entire semester early at community college. So that last semester, I just worked. I was working every day, every night. I actually ended up taking on a second job because the one job that I had, I wasn't going to reach my goal in time.
When did you graduate?
I graduated high school in 2016, finished community college in 2018, and then graduated from SFA this past May 2020.
You got the new marketing job?
Not yet. Currently, I work at Ernst & Young, one of the Big Four accounting firms, as a financial analyst right now. But without the burden
what do you
of
make?
Loans, I make about $47,000 currently.
I love you. You're amazing. Incredible. Okay, key point.
Made a plan.
My dad was a parent. My dad did 2 things. He took debt off the table, not an option. My dad helped me plan. You picked up on it, George.
Yeah. If you made a plan, they did math.
Rachel Cruz says we don't have a student loan crisis, we have a parenting crisis.
I believe that.
The moms
100%.
and dads are letting their 18-year-olds run off into a ditch and watching them do it. Instead of grabbing you and going, no, debt, plan, no debt, plan, work. Sounds like dad stuff. Yeah. Sounds like mom stuff. This is The Ramsey Show.
Still on baby step number 1, eh?
How'd you guess? With healthcare costs rising, learn how Christian Healthcare Ministries can help you make the most out of your budget. Visit chministries.org/budget.
Don't worry, it's worth it.
It's a student loan theme hour here on The Ramsey Show. Open phones at 888-825-5225. George Camel, if you want to talk about student loans, this is your place. George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host. He is the current host. He was the original host of the Borrowed Future podcast, which actually gave us the inspiration and the idea to turn it all into a documentary. And George did a great job with that. Millions and millions of you have listened to the Borrowed Future podcast. I think it was 10, 12 episodes.
Yeah, it was 8 and now 9. We released a bonus one today.
Oh, a bonus episode on the podcast today. Okay.
Yeah, updating everyone.
To go with the launch on the documentary. And, of course, he's also the host of the new Ramsey Network's production called The Fine Print. And you can listen to him there all the time. All right, I want to go back to Sierra's story for a minute. She's incredible. Young lady comes in, says, I'm going to go to college and I have no idea how I'm going to pay for it, and there's no way I have the money, as if the money's going to just rain from heaven. Which is, you were interviewing some students, some high school students recently, and you started asking them, and it freaked them all out.
Basic questions.
What it was going to cost.
What do they want to do? What was it going to cost? How are they going to pay for it? And you would have thought it was an interrogation room. And I went, oh my gosh, their parents have never talked to them about this stuff.
Well, their parents have never thought about it either.
They probably are paying on their own student loans.
What are you studying that matters and that you can get a job because you paid money to get a degree? Not, I got a degree in left-handed puppetry and then I'm shocked that I'm serving coffee. Come on. Moms and dads, you got better sense than this. But Sierra's dad said, no, you're going to study marketing. Consequently, she's got a job straight out of college making almost 50 grand. And that young woman there, she'll be making double that in just a handful of years, I promise you. She's incredible. And then the second thing Dad did was he said, no, we're not going to borrow money, which means that we need a plan. We need a plan. So how are we going to do this? Well, she worked her tail end off. Oh, by the way, working while you're in college is not child abuse. Call the wambulance. You don't get to participate in the beer pong tournament. You'll survive. Wah. You're there to get a degree, to gather knowledge. This is what you're paying for, not how much alcohol you can consume. And whether the football team is good or not will not affect your future career.
They don't ask about that when you do the job interview?
Who knew? Who knew? You know, yeah, it's a conversation piece. Oh, you went to so-and-so and they suck at football. That's the only thing that comes up, and then they move right along, right? Oh, my God. You know, and so the student experience that we're paying $150 grand for, somebody shoot me and get this over with, really. Instead, we're going to end up with Maximus Debt is Us.
That's the new lender, if you didn't
Maximus
know.
Debt is Us.
Navient
I just renamed them.
out.
I just renamed the whole thing. I'm going to have so much fun with this. It's just, you're right. It sounds like a villain from a Saturday morning cartoon. Maximus Debt is Us.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's frightening.
So parents, moms and dads, you can stop this. Watch Borrowed Future. Scare you straight, scare your kids straight. And it'll also make you vote your congressman out of office because they're idiots. They keep the student loan thing in place. And then they go around, we need to forgive student loans. Well, if student loans are so evil, Elizabeth Warren, that we need to forgive them. She tweeted that today, by the way. If we need to forgive the student loans, Elizabeth Warren, why aren't you passing legislation to stop making them? Ooh, that would be intellectually dishonest. Oh, wait a minute, you're a politician. Oh, wait a minute, you're a Democrat. Oh, my God, seriously.
Are you riled up?
I'm riled up.
We did it.
I have, for 30 years, worked with people whose lives have been screwed up by this, and it doesn't affect me at all.
Yeah.
I don't have student loans. Like I said, I had $3,200 500 years ago when the dinosaurs roamed the earth. Nobody cares about my student loan debt. But I tell you what, talking to these people, their lives, unbelievable. Carol is with us. Carol is in Philadelphia. Carol, your student loan question or comment?
Hi, thank you for having me. I just had a comment about student loans and my backstory. I am 46 years old, and I still have $101,000 left in student loans. I was double dumb and went back to college twice and took out loans twice. I just didn't know any better before, following Dave Ramsey and personalities. Yeah. I still have to rent an apartment. I only have $1,000 in my emergency fund. I've never really fully been able to invest. I always thought investing was, for the rich people. And it's just from my background. Neither of my parents went to college. They had no idea what,
So
they could never teach me.
What were your degrees in?
Well, the first degree was in history, which if you don't go to grad school and you don't want to be a teacher, is basically like left-handed puppetry when you graduate. So, and then I worked in an office in my 20s, and then in my 30s, I decided to go back. I always wanted to be an architect, so I got an architecture degree. But
That's
I went
better.
to a private school. Yes, I'm doing financially well.
How much do you make now?
I am making $80,000 right now.
That's good. Okay, so now we're going to claw our way out of this. Okay, good.
Exactly. So, but I just would tell anybody, don't take out student loans at all. It's not a good ROI. Sally Mae is not in my spare bedroom. I'm living in her basement, it feels like, right now.
Wow.
So,
she owns the house. I'm just a tenant.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I think people are they want to get done in 4 years and they want to start their life. And, at 17 and 18, I didn't know what I wanted to do. Most people don't know what they want to do at that age. I think it's better to take your time, work, build your savings to be able to go. It's okay to go to school part-time. You don't need to go to the party school. You don't need to live away from home. It's just, you really have to think about it. I wish they would have taught it in high school. So yeah, it's tough. It's not easy.
Carol, I'm proud of you for facing the monster. I think you're going to win. I think you've turned the corner.
I will win. My goal is to get it all paid off before I'm 50 because I do not want student loans in my 50s. So.
There you go. That's a good goal, and you're going to get there. I mean, it's 4 years. You're going to make it. You're going to do it. That's $25,000 a year, making $80,000. You can do that, and I got faith in you. And thank you for telling your story, though, because it is a wake-up call. And again, we go back to studying something that's applicable. She went and got an architecture degree. Now that actually works. Hello. And studying at a school. See, here's the thing, okay? I'm not mad at you if you want to go to a famous school and pay a lot of money. I mean, $70,000, $80,000 a year, okay? Vanderbilt, right here in Nashville, $70-something thousand bucks a year, tuition, okay? University of Tennessee, in-state tuition, state school, $12,000. So are we saying Vanderbilt is 7 times, your income's going to be 7 times as much if you go to Vanderbilt as if you go to UT? Well, I know this is not a fact because I went to the University of Tennessee and people that went to Vanderbilt work for me. So I know the 7X thing doesn't work. And, I make connections with what? Other broke people? Who are you connecting with? Other people who didn't have the ability to look for a value. Now, again, I've got relatives that graduate from Vanderbilt. They're very smart, and Vanderbilt is academically superior. It's not 7X superior.
No.
Not even close. Not even close. And if you go $300,000 in debt to go there, it's an indication you're not superior.
Yeah.
Your lack of judgment is unbelievable. And so I'm picking on Vanderbilt, but they're just an example of one of the famous schools. They're the Southern Ivy League, if you want to call it.
Well, there's a lot of pride, and you went. My mom and dad went there, and so I've got to go there.
It's hard to get into. It's hard. It's very prestigious.
And the football team, well, maybe not theirs.
Not there.
But a lot of times you make these decisions based on where mom and dad went, what the experience is going to be like, what the football team is like. Not can we afford it, and is this going to get me the degree that I can get the job in the field that I'm passionate about? We're not thinking that way.
We took a call here on the air just a few months ago. A young lady in South Carolina was talking about going to Oxford to Mississippi. And I said, why are you going to Mississippi instead of South Carolina? It's $14,000 a year more because of out-of-state tuition.
Her reason?
The town is pretty. I'm going to lose my mind. Where are your parents? This is The Ramsey Show. Our scripture of the day, 1 Peter 5, 6, and 7. Humble yourselves, therefore, under God's mighty hand, that he may lift you up in due time. Cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you. Martin Luther King said, no work is insignificant. All labor that uplifts humanity has dignity and importance and should be undertaken with painstaking excellence. George Camel is my co-host today. This is a student loan hour as we celebrate the premiere launch today of our first documentary. It's called Borrowed Future. How Student Loans Are Killing the American Dream. You can watch it on Apple TV, rent it for $4.99, Google Play, Amazon Prime, or borrowedfuture.com, or you can buy it and download it like you would a great documentary of other kinds. So be sure and check that out. Darnell is with us in Raleigh, North Carolina. Hey, Darnell, what's up?
Hey, Dave, I'm well. How are you?
Better than I deserve. How can we help?
Yeah, so I was calling because I just finished watching the Borrowed Future documentary, and it's gotten me thinking about my student loans and my repayment plan, especially considering that I'm going to be graduating soon and I'll have to start paying them. So far, my student loans have been kind of in the background, one, because, I have 4 years to work on paying them, well, to consider how I would pay them. But I also went back to school right after, so they've really been in the background for a while. But after watching the documentary, it's kind of gotten me thinking of what the best repayment plan is.
Yeah, how much student loan debt do you have?
Right now, I have $38,000, and I'm going to have to accept another $5,000 to finish off.
Okay, so you have $45,000, give or take, by the time all this smoke clears. And your degree is going to be in what?
This will be my Master's of Business Administration.
Good. Okay, when will you graduate?
May of 22.
Okay. All right. And so, well, between now and then, what I'd prefer you do is work your tail end off, and let's see if we can not take out any more loans. Why don't you see if you can cash flow the rest of it? That's the first thing. Let's stop doing harm. And then from there, George, when he gets out and gets the job.
Yeah, as soon as you get a job, that money is not going to go to you. It's going to go to lenders, and you're going to work your tail off, probably get a second job, and get rid of this debt. It's $43K. If you've got an MBA and you're making $50, $60K, you can get rid of this debt in 2 years or less.
Yeah. Exactly.
So it's possible.
But
you don't have to be
beans
average.
and rice and beans, dude. You don't come out and buy a new car. You don't come out and buy a house. You don't come out and spend a bunch of money. You don't come out and act like you're top dog. You're not. You're bottom dog. You got $45,000 in student loan debt. You got to clean up, and that's mission one. And the quicker you knock that out, the quicker you get on with the rest of your life, and you get to benefit from this education. The longer you keep this around, it's more going to be like trying to swim with concrete shoes on. Don't do it.
We just took that call from the 46-year-old still paying on her loans. I don't want that to be you, Darnell. I want you to have your entire adult life student loan free.
Good observation. Nadia is with us in Houston, Texas. Hi, Nadia.
Hi, it's Nadia.
Nadia, I messed it up. I'm sorry. Okay, Nadia, my bad. I remember seeing you the other day on my daughter's show, Rachel Cruz, and you were impressive, and I told them to reach out and see if you would come on. Thank you for doing that.
Thank you for having me.
Now, you went through school debt-free. Tell us your story right quick.
Absolutely. I actually got my start in community college through dual credit courses when I was in high school. I started at 12, graduated with my associates when I finished high school at 16, and then went to my 4-year university, finished off my 4-year degree in another 2 years, and graduated debt-free at 18.
With a degree in what?
Political science.
Okay, what are you doing?
Right now, I'm actually saving up money so I can cash flow for grad school, and in hopes to become either a social worker or a child advocacy lawyer.
Oh, okay. I like B. Because I think you're incredible. I watched your presence and your poise on the air with Rachel. It was absolutely. And you currently are 20 years old?
No, sir. I'm 18.
18 years old. I'm sorry.
Yes.
And you attributed this, if I recall, to your mom and dad being immigrants.
Absolutely. The drive my parents placed in me was, you are going to college, you're going to do it, and we're going to make it happen. But you need to do your part and apply to scholarships whenever you can.
Yeah, well, you got your undergrad at 18. That's I think that's doing your part. So your mom and dad immigrated from where?
Jamaica.
From Jamaica. And they said, we're coming to America. We're going to change our family tree. So by God, you're doing this.
Yes, absolutely. And one thing I appreciate is they were never helicopter parents, because I know so many people, their parents are just on them so much they don't have any room to grow. My parents were always like, you know what you need to do. Make sure you handle your business, and then we don't need to be overbearing in any way.
They treated you like an adult.
Absolutely.
Wow.
I was 12 in a community college. I was taking classes with adults. So
12
I
years
earned that
old.
respect and kept it. Yes, sir.
So are you have you been tested for intelligence? Are you like a savant or something?
I haven't. I did skip 2 grades, kindergarten and first grade, so I went from preschool to second. That was the last time I took an educational test like that.
I can't skip lunch, and she's just skipping grades over here. You are very impressive.
I can't skip lunch either.
You're
Okay.
incredible.
Well, I think you've got a high level of intelligence, but I think you've got a higher level of drive. And
Absolutely, and that comes from a higher power. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, no question. God being involved in your all's lives. And if you guys want to hear more of Nadia, did I say it right that time?
You sure did.
Nadia's story, you can see her on Rachel Cruz's show on YouTube, which comes up pretty regularly. That's where I picked it up, and I was just thumbing through Rachel's show, and I went, "Whoa, look at this young lady! She's amazing." So your thing was you worked your tail off. You went to community college. You got school credit for classes you were taking. You rolled that up so you didn't have to take as many classes, and you do the whole thing in 4 years. Now, did you get all scholarships, or were you working to pay for it?
I actually got my first job when I was already a junior at Howard University, and I used that to pay off some of my books and things and just additional expenses due to the pandemic. But I didn't get a full ride from Howard. A lot of it was external scholarships. Like I mentioned on the show, I'm not the product of like these big $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 scholarships. I'm the product of $50 scholarships and $100 and $200, because a lot of people snub their nose at those. But I was the person like, if there's any scholarship y'all are willing to give me, I will apply, take my chances, and keep collecting the winnings.
So out of the total, how many dollars in scholarships did you collect, do you think?
I don't know the exact amount, but I know with the other schools that I didn't choose to attend, in total, the last time I checked, there was over $2 million offered when you considered like the tuition and full rides from other schools I was offered.
Yeah, but the actual, when you add up all those $50 ones and all that and actual cash dollars that went towards your school, well, you think it's $10,000 or $50,000?
It's probably closer to 50,000 than 10.
Yeah.
Wow.
And how many different scholarships do you think you had? You said you had a lot of little ones.
Well over 50, I'd say.
Yeah,
Just
so
little...
they averaged under $1,000 a piece.
Yeah.
Is the point.
Yeah,
that's what
it's not about
that's
these
what I was looking for.
$20,000 scholarships and full rides. You got to apply for the little ones. It adds up.
Guys, this can be done. You just have to pay attention. And when you don't pay attention to any area of your life, including your education, your kids' education, including your wealth, including your debt, you wake up and you're normal and your life sucks. And these people that have won at this were not zombies. They did not sleepwalk. They paid attention. Their dads and moms paid attention. So this is what Borrowed Future is about. It's trying to get America to pay attention to an epic failure called the student loan program. It is a failure. It needs to stop.
Yeah. You've got to make a decision. Once you watch this documentary, you have to decide if you're going to be a part of this system any longer. If you're going to let your kids be a part of that system and your friends be a part of that system. So every living, breathing person needs to watch this documentary. The stories are inspiring. There's some heartbreaking stuff. There's some amazing experts featured on there. And it's 90 minutes, and it is a world-class feature film documentary. I'm so proud of this team and what impact this is going to have.
Yeah, me too. Borrowed Future. Again, you can watch it at Google Play, Amazon Prime, and Apple TV, as well as borrowedfuture.com. If you are a teacher, show it to your class for free. And so far today, we've had several hundred teachers already sign up for that, which gives me hope.
You can do that.
We're going to stir up a ruckus, boys and girls. Woo! Check it out. That puts this hour of The Ramsey Show in the books. We'll be back with you before you know it. In the meantime, remember, there's ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus.
Hey, it's Kelly, associate producer and phone screener for The Ramsey Show. If you would like to do your debt-free scream live on the show, make sure you visit theramseyshow.com and register. We would love for you to come to Nashville and tell Dave your story.